outside of like the disgusting, like degenerate shit he does, why am I looking into a mirror right now? Like, what the fuck? I am genuinely shocked, bro. Like, I didn't realize that me and Asmund had this much in common. I've been living like an animal for 13 years, so here's why. Alright.
Hey guys, it's me, and today I wanted to answer a question that a lot of people have been asking me my whole life, and more importantly, they've been asking me a lot recently, especially online.
Why is he recording this on his phone?
In many forms, but it all is distilled down to the same thing, which is, in one form or another, why are you like this? Whether it's the dead rat alarm clock, the barbecue puke shower curtain, dead animals in the house, or any other one of the stories that are just an indicator of me living like a complete fucking animal. People always wonder, why would a person live like this? Why would a person be like this? Why am I like this?
That's a valid question.
Honestly, you know, there's a lot of answers for this. I really don't want to make this like a super long video, so hopefully I can distill it down to some main points and not really go off on too many tangents, although I think that I probably will, because there's a lot of like history with it and everything like that. And so basically the first thing you need to know about me is that I actually, if you can believe this, I know this might sound shocking, is that I actually have not always been like this. This is a relatively new thing for me. And I think that it really kind of started a lot when I would say in high school, and then later on it kind of entered phase 2.
Yeah. I think a huge part of his problems right now is that his parents did not how do you call it, discouraged enough of this behavior. Because like, if you know anything about him, he used when he used to like be you know, not a non-streamer, just a regular guy playing World of Warcraft. What the fuck was that? World of Warcraft. He had like pee bottles. That's weird, okay? No matter how you look at it. If I was his mom or I was his dad, I would beat him over the head. Like, what the fuck you mean you got pee bottles in your room? Sure, okay, you know what, you have clutter in your room, fine, you know, clothes on your chair, whatever. But pee bottles, my brother? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so that's not happening, bro. So I think his parents just weren't, you know, weren't really doing their job.
And that was probably somewhere around 21 or 23, somewhere around there in those age groups. And that's whenever, you know, the degeneracy really kind of went, you know, it ratcheted up to the next level. I leveled up, new expansion release, DLC, etc., right? And so this happened then. Because as a kid, I was actually very much like a very conscientious kid, in the way that I basically didn't really want to be perceived in a negative way. I wanted to be seen as a good person, etc. And I've always,
I think every kid has that
problem with being able to like relate to other people, because I think that I'm just a little bit off, right? I wouldn't say that I don't have a moral compass, but I would say that my moral compass doesn't point north. And this has been a problem in a lot of cases in my life, whether it's with relationships or friendships or anything in between. I've had a lot of problems because of that. And in the process of this, I've learned a lot of things about myself, and the main thing is that my take and my view on moral issues is not really what I would say a normal person thinks. And this has caused me a lot of problems, and especially like as a young kid, you know, being able to like interact and fit in with people, it's a weird dichotomy, because the truth is I actually always did have a lot of friends, and I never had problems making friends, but at the same time I always felt like I was very different from a lot of other people because of the way that I felt. I used to have, for a comparison, just a point of reference, I guess you could say, I used to have my mom read me all of the different like sins in the Bible, and everything, because I understood even as a little kid. I'm like, there's something wrong with you. Like you better learn this so that way there aren't any problems in the future. And so I would have her read all of these to me. That way I would understand how to behave, right? Because it just never came naturally to me. Things that come naturally to other people were not natural and are not natural. It's not like things have changed. If anything, they've probably gotten worse as I've gotten older. And so I've always had a big problem being able to understand like where, how you should act, how you should treat people, what you should do, how you should say things, etc. So almost everything that I do is a learned performance rather than an...
Sounds like autism, my boy. Like, I'm no, like, expert on it at all. But that sounds rather autistic, I'm not gonna lie.
Innate social instinct, if that makes sense. And hopefully the performance is good. I consider myself kind of a good actor, at least, right? But of course there are going to be cracks and outtakes as well, and so those are usually in the form of the Twitter clips with 100,000 likes. And so anyway, as a kid, I was always treated this way, and people thought that I was a little bit off, a little bit weird. Like one time, like for example, there was a kid that I was like playing with baseball with him, and he was annoying me, making me mad. And so I hit the ball, and I hit it with the explicit intention of hitting him in the face with the ball. And I did. And so I remember there's blood all over the kid's face. He like broke his tooth and everything, and everybody was standing around like what the fuck? Like this is like terrible. And I remember walking up. This was like the best day of my fucking life.
Honestly, kind of relate to that. Like, whenever your existence is of a person that has to walk on eggshells everywhere they go, so that they don't offend people, and you have to like act accordingly to that, and then you finally have like a day where you just stop forcing yourself to follow the programming you created for yourself, and just do whatever you wanted to do at that point, like an impulsive decision. That's gonna be feeling good, bro, because you've been like consciously been like playing life on NPC mode. Like, I get it, I totally get it. Break free from your programming. I understand it. I did too. I had like this kid, and I got mad at him. I don't even remember why. I think it was like he was climbing like the plaything, and he didn't let me on the plaything. So what I did was I had this. I don't know what it's called. It's like a shovel, but it's like plastic shovel. That makes sense. But it's for snow and not for like sand. So I guess a snow shovel. And that was lying there, and I swung it towards his face, and he fell down. Then I got in trouble, but that felt good. So honestly, what he said that right here, I kind of relate.
This happened, and I was so happy, and I could see that other people were made very uncomfortable around this, and that's whenever I started trying to like really kind of mask my emotions and how I felt about things, because it was very evident to me that I was not really normal. And this has been again a huge problem my whole life, but that was pretty much the first, at least the time that I can remember in my mind, the first time that I can remember that and see that, wow, this didn't go over the way that I thought it would go over, because I was so happy and nobody else is happy and they think I'm like a bad person. But it's like, from my perspective, that's not how I saw it. And
no.
From my perspective, rip bozo. So this is a big problem, and this happens in middle school as well. I cared a lot about like how I looked, how I dressed, etc. in middle school. I mean, really, who doesn't? And
yep, I cared. Oh, my bad. I cared so much about how I dressed. I asked my mom to get new Air Max, and those things are incredibly expensive, especially for my mother at the time, which I didn't know, okay, because, well, I was a child, and knowing money situations for a one-parent household is just, not something as a child you think about. But anyway, so I asked my mom for Air Max. Later on, when I came to school, some other kid had the same Air Max as me, and I kind of fucking hated them for that. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, like sometimes you just do like these weird things to try to fit into this fucking society. But the moment you get out of this stupid like school culture nonsense, where you like feel like you have to care about everything and everyone, and people need to look up to you or whatever the fuck. You can't look like somebody who is weak, or you can't look like somebody who is like, I don't know, victim mentality, and stuff like that. The moment you become an adult, or not even an adult, just to get out of that like whole community stuff with like school, your mentally you start thinking different, and I think that's way better. I think school culture is inherently toxic because it forces you to like confine into like this shared morality and shared like activities and all these like things that everyone needs to be equal, everyone needs to be, nobody can stand out, nobody can be under, like it's like very toxic in my opinion, because nobody can be who they want to be. But yeah, anyway, I had that same kind of experience.
I really tried to like take myself seriously, and I tried to have a good impression, etc., do the right things, say the right things, wear the right things, be the right kind of person. And going into high school, I kind of got there's a weird thing where like I ended up going to like one high school that I didn't want to go to, and then I ended up going to another high school after that, after I told my parents that if they didn't change me over, I would kill myself and fail every single class, which I was halfway followed through with that, because my first semester in that high school, I had a GPA of a 0.08. It was actually impressive. It was hard to do. I had to go out of my way for this. And so then I ended up getting transferred over, and I went to the school where my friends were. And I think that like the high school that I had originally gone to was a much more superficial, much more like like a higher class high school, because my dad wanted me to go there because like he wanted me to go to school to get an education. Imagine that. I wanted to go to school to hang out with my friends, so there was a bit of a
honestly, I think parents that force their child to go to a school where their friends are not going to, and ruin their complete like social life in pursuit of education, I think that's child abuse, honestly. There's one thing that's very precious to you as a child, and that's your childhood and your friends, your free time. And whenever you become an adult, and you get like all these adult responsibilities, and you get mentally you become an adult, you lose a significant amount of like character, if that makes sense. Like as a child, you can be, be goofy, do silly stuff, and just be a complete moron and nobody cares. But the moment you become or get considered an adult, you can't really do those things anymore. Then you will be perceived as weird, or a man child, or anything like that. Anything. It's all everything is like really negative. If you're a adult in law and in fact, you will be perceived as weird if you act childish, right? And I'm not meaning like petty or just emotional, not intelligent, or something like that. No, I mean like generally just like something like anime, or collect some stuff, some things that are considered childish, right? Video games. People think people that play video games are also still, just not grown up and all that. Obviously, that stigma is kind of changing at this rate, but yeah, it's very difficult, And if your parents then literally rip you of your childhood and of your friends and of your like community you were in, I don't know, man. I think that's just straight up child abuse.
Disconnect there. And so I go over to the other school, and I realize that I need to stop caring about what people think about me, because I saw the people that were in that other school, and I realized that's not the kind of person that I wanted to be, because they were the more extreme version of the person that I was trying to be. And at that point, I realized that I didn't really want to be like other people, and I had to develop, I guess, my own identity. And this was at, like, I would say 14 or 15. And that happened, and that continued all the way through high school. And, you know, I was always like, you know, I never really had a girlfriend, right, in high school or anything like that. Maybe, you know, I talked to a girl, but not really, okay? And so I was never really treated very well by, you know, a lot of girls or anything like that. And big surprise, imagine that. And so anyway, this...
Honestly, my whole high school, I never really cared about girls. I liked men.
Happened, and you know, I kind of got used to this, and it was normal. So I would try to improve myself and, you know, like, make myself look better and try to do this, and it would just be met with the same outcome, which was a massive failure. Big surprise. You know, being a level 60 warrior isn't as attractive to women as it is to other 16-year-old guys. And so anyway, I had this happen, and you know, I eventually kind of got to the point where I was more comfortable with that, and I stopped really caring as much about what, you know, like, people would think about me, and, you know, in general, just like people's perception of me. And this kind of got worse as time goes on. And I think that I spent, like, my teenage years primarily trying to disconnect myself and trying to remove myself from the obligation to be a certain kind of person to the public, and just to society in general. I viewed society as, you know, I never chose to be here. This was not up for discussion. I just spawned in here, and so it's like, I have to follow these rules. I have to do all of these things. I have to be this kind of a person. And then, you know, when I was like 17, 18, 19, I asked myself, well, why am I doing this? And so I stopped doing all of that stuff, and I've done many degenerate things, none of which I regret. Nothing at all in my life that I've ever regretted at all. But you know, I would do things that a lot of people would consider to be very improper. Let's just say that. And so
yeah.
I never really viewed myself, I never really viewed it as like a good or a bad thing. I just, you know, simply existed, and I did what I would do. And that was it. And at that point, I pretty much had completely disconnected myself from the perception of other people. And this was at the same time, like, growing up, my mom was, I think there was maybe 2 years or so where she made above the poverty level in terms of income. And so we basically barely skated by most of the time. And primarily the reason for that, honestly, is because my dad always paid child support, etc., at least until I was 18. And, you know, all that time, you know, she was able to skate by with that and pretty much survive. After high school was over, then obviously, like, that stopped, and then she wasn't able to support herself, so I was having to figure out ways to make money and try to, like, piece together money. She would borrow money sometimes from my dad, and it was in general like a very, very negative situation, and so we never really had any money. This was the time where, you know, I was pretty much, ironically, at the peak of my degeneracy. I was probably one of the highest rated warriors in WoW. At the time, it was great, but not necessarily in real life. And so at this point, I'd pretty much completely disconnected myself from
escapism. I mean, is it wrong to have escape or use escapism, or have or like act on it? You know, like, use it. Escapism in itself is not inherently bad. But there's, like, levels to it, you know? So highest rated warriors in WoW. At the time, it was great, but not necessarily in real life. And so at this point, I'd pretty much completely disconnected myself from the way that people saw me. And I stopped caring about the way that people saw me, because I pretty much gave up on being like a normal person. I gave up on being accepted by the public. I gave up on living a normal life, or, you know, having a family or anything like that. I just felt like I just was not
capable of that based off of my experiences that I had. And I had many other ones too. Like I stabbed somebody and a few other things too. I probably didn't even say because they would too drastically alter people's perception of me. But either way, you know, a lot of these instances where I kind of was like, okay, this is bad. Maybe it's better that I'm you know, quarantined in my house. And so anyway, I did this a lot, and my mom and I, like, it was really just kind of the two of us. My dad was there, he was supportive, and he always has been supportive. But other than that, I do have family, but none of them live in the state of Texas. And so any trouble, any problems, anything like that, it was pretty much entirely on me to resolve this issue. And so take care of my mom, pay for things, anything like that, it was always on me. And her health started deteriorating at about the same time. This is big surprise. You smoke since you're 16. You spend your entire time smoking cigarettes, watching Ancient Aliens, and fucking around on the internet playing WoW, and you're overweight massively like she was. This isn't good for your health, especially when you're getting into your 60s, which she was at that time, because she had me when she was like 39.
Wait, his mom also played WoW? Wait, hold up.
WoW, and you're overweight.
Around the time, oh, he was playing World of Warcraft. Okay.
Massively like she was. This isn't good for your health, especially when you're getting into your 60s, which she was at that time, because she had me when she was like 39 and a half.
Damn,
40 or
that's
something.
old.
And so at this point, you know, her health was deteriorating, and I remember like she had like a number of instances where like I would like wake up and I hear her like screaming because she would like I don't even really know what the fuck was wrong with her. I don't know. It was like a weird thing where like she couldn't see out of her eye, and then she had like some kind of like, I think like a bleed in her eye, and then she had like, I think it wasn't really a heart attack, it was like some sort of like variation of that. And I remember like her like begging me not to call the ambulance, and this is just like, and this is at the same time that you know, the house is fucking, you know, we can barely pay for the house, we're worried about getting evicted from the house, we have no AC, or no, we did have AC, we didn't have heat, and so you know, I would go to sleep and like the house would be so cold because I would just give her the heater, and I always viewed it as like, you know, oh, I'm sleeping out on Mount Everest, right? It's like, you know, I'm cosplaying as Bear Grylls, and I remember like my glass of water in my room, there would have like ice crystals on the edge of it, right?
What the fuck?
And so I did that really for like 2 years, and so we had like basically like zero money, and so this happened.
Jesus Christ.
Pretty much like her health would deteriorate more and more and more to the point where she couldn't drive, she couldn't do X, she couldn't do Y, she couldn't get a job anymore. And then it relied on me more and more to completely support her in like pretty much all ways. And so, and I remember she would like beg, like she was like on the ground like crying, begging me not to call an ambulance. And so this was very upsetting for me, by the way. Like I got to the point where like at this time period, I would wake up like every 2 hours or so with like a weird thing where I would hear her screaming my name. And this went on for maybe like 6 months to a year. And also I want to say that like all of this stuff and everything about it, I don't really, like, everybody in life has problems, and I hope that by sharing my problems, people can kind of see where I'm coming from as a person. I don't really care about sympathy. I don't care about people feeling bad for me. I don't really give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. I hope that nobody thinks that this is coming off as any form of a you know, like sympathy play. You know, I've had things bad happen in my life. I think that in many cases they've been my fault. I've deserved them. But this is just what's happened. And so anyway, and every action and every outcome in my life leading up to now has led me to the position that I am right now. And I think that in a lot of cases I'm happy with how I am. And you can't just go back and edit out all the bad parts and expect to be in the good part.
True.
And so at the same time this was happening, like a lot of my friends were obviously going through college, finishing college, you know, having girlfriends, like moving in and everything. And I was worried about, you know, number one, my mom dying, number two, you know, being homeless, and number three, at that point, I had always assumed that I would kill myself after high school. Like, that was my plan. And, you know, Wrath of the Lich King came out, and homeless, and...
Bro. Do you know how much growth this man has gone through to speak of this so nonchalantly? Like, the amount of mental strength it took for him to just like fight through this whole situation that he been through, it's impressive. It's definitely impressive, bro. And honestly, I knew he had like he had like a rough childhood, right? But I didn't really know anything like in depth like this, But the fact that he was struggling with like the fact that his mom could die at any moment, he could be homeless at any time, like those are not normal things to be worried about when you're a child, bro. I mean, he wasn't a child; he was a teen. All right, he was a teenager at that time, but still, man, like that's not the things you should be worried about at all. God, it's insane, man.
And number 3, at that point, I had always assumed that I would kill myself after high school. Like that was my plan.
Honestly, I'm about to get deep here. I've also been in a place where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make it till 20. I'm not gonna make it till, how old was I? 17, 16. Hold on, let me do a math. Hold on. I was 16. I was in the 3rd grade in high school. I don't know how it's called in American, but it was just called class 3. I failed, so I was held back. And midst of that year, I was already getting like mentally, I was already just, struggling at that point. And then that came on top of it. I just withdraw from school altogether. And honestly, like 2.5, 3 years, something like that. Could that be? That's like, yeah, I'm 19 then. 19-ish, I think. 18.5. Something like that, bro. Like, for that majority of the time, I was really just in an insane depression, man. And people think depression is just being sad all the time. No, I wish it was, bro. I'm sad now. I still have sad moments. I still have depression moments, but that's not really the relevant in this example. No, being sad. If all it is being sad is depression is nothing, bro. No, listen. It's the absence of feeling. That's what depression is. Depression isn't, oh, I feel sad. No, you are exhausted physically and mentally. You don't want to do anything. You don't need anything. You feel like you don't exist, but you exist at the same time. You wish you wouldn't exist, but you still exist. And the reason why people like cut themselves is the reason, or is, at least for me it was, to feel something. And a lot of people don't understand how depression really works in that way, because like I said, they think it's just sadness. It's not sadness, bro. It's way worse. There's like, oh yeah, if depression's just a bowl, and normally you have like a bunch of like emotions in the bowl, and you're just only left with like the sad emotion. No, even the bowl is gone. That's what depression is. There's nothing that contains anything. So yeah, anyway, I've been there, bro. I also thought I wouldn't make it till 20. Like I've thought of like any imaginable way that you could commit suicide. I've been there, bro. Honestly, I've been there.
And Wrath of the Lich King came out, and I just got distracted. I forgot, and so I ended up not doing that. And
that's also the case, bro. I consumed a shit ton of anime, bro. I was dead ass watching anime from, well, whenever I woke up and dragged myself out of bed till the time I dragged myself back into bed. And that weren't like really long days per se. I had some times where I just, sat there and watched anime for like 2 days straight. No sleeping at all. Honestly, I think it's very impressive that I was able to do that. Like 2 days straight. It's kind of impressive, but it's also very disturbing. But yeah, what he had with, World of Warcraft, why can I not say it? World of Warcraft, thank you. That's what I had with anime, bro. Like, what he said, he's probably gonna say World of Warcraft saved his life. Well, I say it about anime, man. Swear to God. And later on, I started going, workouts, fitness, and all that, and that really helped in the end.
And because of that, I never brushed my teeth in high school. Never really gave a fuck about it. Never.
Yeah, same.
Guess what that causes? It causes your teeth to rot out. And so a lot of my teeth.
Not really. I mean, my teeth are pretty good. I also had like a time where I just didn't brush my teeth at all. I didn't go to the dentist at all. Also, I didn't really consume a lot of sugar because I don't really like sugar that much. I don't really like sweet things. That's why I drink coffee black. But yeah, maybe that's what helped me, that I didn't really drink a lot of sugary substances like that. Like I don't really like energy drinks because I think they're disgusting. Red Bull is alright, I guess. It's like the least disgusting of all of them. And I guess I drank a lot of like Zero Coke, but that's about it. But that was high school. After that, I also stopped doing that. So I pretty much just drink water and coffee at this point.
Had to be, I had to get fillings and everything as a teenager, and my dad paid for a lot of it, which he was very, very unhappy about. And so these fillings would come out. This is what happens with fillings or anything like that.
The old ones, yeah.
Come out, and then of course my teeth deteriorated naturally because I love soda. I love drinking soda.
Yeah, that's the problem. He drinks a bunch of sugar, so that will ruin your teeth. Honestly, I was lucky that I didn't like sugar. Honestly.
I've got a soda right over there. Went to McDonald's earlier today. Really, really like soda. Like it so much that right now I only have 5 real teeth left in my whole mouth. And I think you start with like 32, which is kind of crazy to think. And so anyway...
So the majority of his teeth are fake. How much do you have left?
It's so much that right now I only have 5 real teeth left in my...
5 real teeth left. Damn. I only have 2 fake teeth. Can you guess which one? Probably not.
My whole mouth. And I think you start with like 32, which is kind of crazy to think. And so anyway, this happened, and all my teeth were starting to rot out. I was not able to eat with one side of my mouth. I would have these toothaches that would get so bad that I would pass out from the pain. And I eventually had to go to like the, basically, if you're like, the people that really get fucked by medical bills are the people that are in the middle of like, economically, because if you're broke, like they'll do shit for you for like $10. If they can get anything, they'll do it. And so I had a program like that, and so they would have to pull out my teeth kind of regularly, and that's how I lost. I have no back teeth at all. That's why if you look at my jawline, it's very different than if you look at it from like high school or like by the age of like 19 or 20. It's completely changed because I've lost all of my teeth, and my jaw bone is like pretty much rotted out. And so, which as far as I know is unfixable, at least in the way that I have this problem. There's a separate problem that is fixable. I don't have that one. I talked to a dentist about it. So it's basically like irreversibly fucked. And so anyway, this happened, and it was not a great time. My teeth were rotting out, etc. And at that point, I had to completely, like, pretty much give up the notion and give up the dream of ever being a normal person. At that point, I could feel myself no longer being the same as anybody else, right?
It's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy at that rate, right? Like, he didn't want to be like anyone else, then he was put in like a situation where most people would probably not come out of, and he came out of it. But he had lasting problems that came from that situation that made him different, which made him different for real this time. Like, yeah, he can think of different ways, think different methods, like how your brain works is different, right? But that doesn't necessarily make you a different person. I think so, at least. The thing that makes you a different person is more physical, because physical is like way like we humans are like really observant creatures, right? We like to observe things. We like to see what things are, and gauge what something is depending on our sight. We rely on our sight for the majority of everything we do. And whenever somebody looks weird or odd or like different, we'll spot that, and we will either consciously or unconsciously treat that person in a different way, whether that's a negative or a positive way, right? And you can really see that because a lot of people always make fun of him, right? A lot of people call him a bum, a lot of people call him ugly, a lot of people call him all these like negative things, and in a way they're right, but you already know the people that do that, they are also uncomfortable or also not confident in themselves, and they hate that he has so much confidence, even though they can't fathom that if they look this way, they would have confidence as a person, right? But I'm not gonna go into too much of the psychological levels of Twitter users.
And I actually, for a while, I really hated it, but then I got used to it, and then
Yeah.
I embraced it, and I think that's where I am now. So I would say like
Acceptance.
Like ages, like I would say 13 to I don't know, like 21, somewhere around there, right? Then after that, I started doing other stuff. I was playing WoW, I was making videos, I was doing other random things, right? And my mom's like health pretty much would always get worse, and that's just that's just the way it is when you get older, right? And so I would have to do my best to like take care of her, and worked at the IRS for a while. Tried to work at Sam's Club, didn't really go very well. But overall, I tried to go back to college. I do have a college degree, if you can imagine that, but learned more from business from WoW than I did from business school. And so then I spent that time, and then this was all the time, like, me not knowing if she would, every day I would wake up and like, hear that voice in my mind, and like, it was really, really bad. And this is just something I would do all the time, and I try to always make the best out of things. I try to just, not think about it. But, looking back on it, things were very, very bad. And so anyway, fast forward a little bit later, and that's whenever I was like going back to college. I thought that I would just, basically have a shitty job, play video games for my whole life, and then die, right? Mm-hmm. And I got a shitty job, and I realized the shitty job is actually a lot more shitty than I thought it would be. So then I remember it was probably like one of the best things that ever happened to me, is that I took this job at Sam's Club, and I hated it so much, it actually encouraged me to make myself a better person, if you can imagine that. And so I signed up to go back to university and finish another degree that I was working on so I could go to law school. Actually, I wanted to be a lawyer, basically because I had a friend in high school. We would always play Magic the Gathering, and I could see him. He would always manipulate the rules to come out ahead and win different like arguments in Magic the Gathering, and I was like, I bet lawyers do that in real life. I should do that myself. And so that was always my motivation.
That's so true.
And, anyway, I did that, and then a number of other things, random things that are not, I would say like YouTube or public safe that I did. And then after that, I started doing YouTube, and then I started doing YouTube, and I focused on that. And I would.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Anyway, I did that, and then a number of other things, random things that are not, I would say like YouTube or public safe that I.
Honestly, I don't know what that means.
And then then after that, I started doing YouTube, and then I started doing YouTube, and I focused on that, and I would put videos out of the way that I lived, etc. And people would always find it to be very funny or like weird, and everybody would like really like. There were a lot of people, and this is true even now, people that like hate me for living the way that I do, and I think that really.
Yep.
You know, people look at a person like me and they see a person who has a number of things in their life that they wish they had, but I've done basically, you know, if you look at it from like, what do they tell you to do when you're growing up? You know, I used every single thing to do as a checklist of what not to do, right? And so, you know, I think that a lot of people could be a little bit, you know, annoyed by that. And so I can see why, and et cetera. And it is disgusting, by the way. And so, you know, missing half your teeth and, you know, living in a dump with a dead rat alarm clock. You don't know if your mom's going to be alive that day. You've got no money. You have to support her. She's never going to be able to support herself. And things are just basically slowly getting worse and worse and worse. And I started doing YouTube, and things started doing a little bit better. I started doing streaming. Things were doing better then. I went to get my teeth fixed, because if you look at my old videos, a lot of my old videos, you'd notice that I smile. You know, when I smile, I cover my mouth when I smile. The reason for that is this isn't Saikuno, where I don't like my smile. Yeah, well, I don't like my smile. It's not because I think it's ugly. It's because I didn't have any fucking teeth.
Oh, wow.
See that. And so that's why I would cover my mouth a lot whenever I first started streaming. And
damn.
So, this happened to me for a long time. I go to the dentist, and they tell me it's going to be like around $50,000 to get all my teeth fixed and everything.
Damn.
Taken care of. Then I thought
that's a lot.
Maybe because it was the first time at that point where I kind of like, it really hit me that I had like irreversibly and irreparably damaged my life in a way that I couldn't just immediately like undo. Because like as a kid, you know, usually you make a mistake where it's like you scrape your knee and then, well, you put a bandage on and it gets better. But with this, it never was going to get better, and it's only going to get worse, and it certainly has, by the way. And so anyway, I did want to kill myself, but I decided instead of killing myself, I'd do something even worse. I'd start streaming. And I started streaming because I wasn't really making enough money, and everybody says, oh, well, I started streaming because, you know, I like interacting with people. It's because I was lonely. Well, I started streaming for money. I needed some fucking money. And so that's what I did. And I was like, guys, we've got a donation goal of $100, and you know, if we get $100, I'm gonna go to Wendy's tomorrow. And I would always meme it up, you know, $1 equals one donut, and it's like, you know, I would make a bunch of money, and it was great. And things actually did go very well. I streamed every single night. I was very dedicated. I tried to make things as entertaining as possible, and you know, I did what I tried to do best, right? And things kind of got better and they improved. This happened just at pretty much the same time. A lot of my friends were kind of evolving and going past, like college, like they were getting careers, getting married, having kids. And like now I'm pretty sure, I'm thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure every single friend that I have is either married or has a kid. Which is kind of crazy considering that I'm sitting here doing what I'm doing, but it is kind of weird. I'm 34 now, which is honestly a fucking shock. Like I can't believe it. I don't feel 34. I feel like I'm still 16. But I look in the mirror, I see my hairline, and I think to myself, oh my god, wait a minute, I think I'm actually 34.
Yeah.
If I'm really not sure, I talk to somebody who's 16, and then I realize, hold up, wait a minute, no, actually I am 34. There's no better way to realize that you're actually older until you talk to somebody who's actually younger.
Yep.
It is for me. So anyway, my stream was doing very well. My social life really, I pretty much like stopped interacting with a lot of friends of mine because I focused pretty much just on streaming and on making this as much as possible. And also, I'm a very introverted person in a lot of ways. I like being alone. I don't like people talking to me a whole lot. I don't like phone calls. I don't like interacting with people. I don't like.
Why is it that all these like YouTubers and streamers, they're always like introverts? Like I'm the same, but like, why is that a thing? How is people that are self-conscious about themselves, how do they go into a profession where they are getting they will get judged every single second of the day? they will get hate comments, they will get interactions with people that they might dislike. They have to interact with people. Their whole like life surrounds people. Like, why is that? Why is that? Like, generally, like, why? I really don't get it. I really don't.
Going out, if you guys might notice this, right? If it's, a mystery or secret. And so, big surprise, that's how it was. And then, I started streaming, my stream started doing better. And there was a degree of like stress that created. But, and in terms of like my lifestyle and everything, living that way, I never really thought about it at that point. I never really worried too much about like kind of how people would perceive me. I always viewed myself as like, this is just who I am. This is what I am. That's all there is to it. And I never really took, and I still don't really take any criticism or any negativity to heart. I don't take it personally. I don't really care a whole lot. And so,
as you should.
Never really bothered me, and people thought it was funny. And so I had like these snack box, and there were like maggots in the snack box, and I would eat the food with the maggots inside of the food. It was like honey buns, which were really, really good. And to be honest, I didn't even really taste them, so it was pretty much the same thing. It didn't even bother me. And so, I had like taken at that point, my teeth had like totally rotten out, and so I had taken pliers to like break pieces of my teeth off, even like if I wasn't able to speak during a stream because like a point was like poking my tongue, or like playing a game or something like that, talking to people. And so I still have the pliers actually in my bathroom from all the way back then. And so this had happened for quite a while. And then I guess you could say I started like, I guess like the second phase of my life of like trying to remove myself from like caring about being worried about the outcome of other people. It was always very scary for me to know that like my mom would die one day, right? This was extremely scary. This was like the one thing that I didn't want to have happen. And in 2021 it did happen. And so leading up to that was incredibly stressful. She pretty much did everything that she possibly could. I love her, but she did every fucking thing that she could to make things as absolutely unpleasant as possible. Oh my God. And so, yes. It was very frustrating to deal with somebody like that. But, she was 70 at the time. And so it really, really, really hurt. And it's like she was the main person in my life that I was like most connected to, and like this is the person that I had like the deepest emotional connection with, and to just lose them. And it was kind of random, by the way. Like things got worse over time, but it was nothing like at the very end there. It just kind of went off a fucking cliff. And so this happened, and then at about the same time, a little bit after that, I also broke up with a long-term girlfriend at the time. And then at the same time, my dad got so fucking sick that we were like talking about writing his will, like, and he's still setting all that up because he doesn't know if this shit's gonna happen again, right? What's gonna be? And he's 77 too, so it's rough, right? It's bad. And he went through pneumonia 4 fucking times in a year. And and he's still getting around, going to the store, etc. But I got to help him every once in a while too, right? And it is what it is. And so again, and we don't have any family around here, and so if something goes wrong, if something's bad, there's one person who's responsible for that, and that's me.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure, right? And I had all 3 of these things happen to me within pretty much 1 year of each other, maybe 2 years with the thing with my dad. And so at that point, I began the second part of, I think that like, my, abstraction of reality is that I've tried my best to remove myself from caring about other people as much as I can, and not caring about them in terms of like, being friendly. Of course, I'm friendly with people, but being emotionally attached to having them in my life, being emotionally attached to the way that they feel about me and how they're doing. It's been very hard for me to actually...
Bro. Outside of like the disgusting, like degenerate shit he does, why am I looking into a mirror right now? Like, what the fuck? I am genuinely shocked, bro. Like, I didn't realize that me and Asman had this much in common. like mentally. What the fuck, bro? I don't know. I have no words.
Have any sort of feelings towards people when it seems like everybody that was important to me is fucking dying, and so this or leaving me, right, or breaking up with me. So at this certain point, you just kind of get away from that, and then after that, we entered into, I would say, the third phase, which is the point where I lose the connection with myself, and I think that whenever I finally do that, I think that maybe one day I might be happy again. And what I mean by that is that I always worry about like dying and all this stuff, and like how I'm like where do you go, what happens, right? And it would be very, very stressful for me. And I usually reassure myself by reminding myself that I'm just a hyper intelligent monkey that probably evolved too fast. And I think that we all are, by the way. It's not like I'm special. And that usually is oddly reassuring. But otherwise, it was very stressful for me, and I did think that I was farther along. I thought I would be okay with dying until I thought that I was dying, and then I realized that I wasn't as far along as I thought I was.
Yeah.
Recently, whenever I had a blood pressure reading of 194, which is a high score so far, at least so far. And so things have been improving since then, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't like think that, right? Like, if the fact that you were like consciously like thinking about wanting to like off yourself back then, right? And then time passes, and then you found some value in life, which made you stick around. And then when you like confronted by, with his case, like a high blood pressure, so that could result in heart attack, and then you suddenly just get scared again for dying because it's not your own choice anymore. I think that's the thing here. I think it's about that you have no choice in this matter. The reason why people are so comfortable with, or not comfortable, no. The reason why people that are so far gone that they are thinking about like ending themselves is probably because it's their choice. They are in power of that decision. But whenever it comes around when you're not ready for it, or you don't want it right now, or something like that, that's where stuff goes wrong. That's when you just get confronted by death, and then you just realize, oh shit, death actually has like this incredible like grasp and power over my mental well-being. Like, if I get confronted by death, I'm terrified, right? Like, as you should be, right? Because death is the end. And just like when you die in games, like, nobody likes dying in games, right? So yeah, it's kind of ironic that people that that are on that stage where they think that they're ready to like end living, that they just can't cope with real death, if that makes sense.
But anyway, this has been my life, and I stopped really caring about anything. I stopped caring about what happens to me. I stopped caring about what happens to other people. I stopped caring about what people think about me. And I felt that the more that I have, the more that I've cared about things, the more unhappy I've been as a person. And I think that this is true on like a base level. Is this some sort of pathological problem for me? I think it probably is. But at the end of the day, this is the best way that I know to cope with it, right? And so for me, the way that I live and everything is a manifestation of that. It's always been this way for me. My mom, like growing up, things were pretty messy, etc. But then even now, things are worse than they ever have been in terms of like being messy. But I never really think about it or worry about it because I'm just never really. It doesn't even cross my mind. I'm thinking about things that I want to think about. I'm doing things that I want to do. And I never think about what other people think about me. I don't think about how it affects other people. I don't think about how they feel or anything like that. And it might sound like a bad thing, but it's made me a happier and more fulfilled person, not worrying about anybody else really other than myself. Unless
Yeah, there's another one I totally agree with, man. I don't know why people always just think that everyone needs to care about everyone. No, okay. And it's made me very apparent with this whole stuff around, like, first the Russian and Ukraine war, and now the Israel and Palestine war. Like, I couldn't give a fuck, bro. I could not give a shit. Yes, it's sad. It's definitely an atrocious fucking happening. I get it. It is, alright? But, like, why would I give a fuck? Do I have the physical manpower to help? No. Do I have the financial power to help? No. Do I have anything else to help? No. So why the fuck would I give a shit? Why would I care about some random fucking guys in fucking East Europe? Who gives a shit? Why do you care? Care about yourself, care about your life, care about what your friends are doing, what your family's doing. Care about what your own well-being. Like, what? Honestly, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm an egotist. I don't care. Honestly, okay, I'm an egotist. Sure, whatever, bro. I'm definitely a selective egotist because I can care about people. I can. And it doesn't necessarily need to, like, I don't necessarily need to try about, like, to do it. I don't need to try to care about something. But if I do, or if there's something that I don't care about and people claim that I should be caring about it, I'd have to try to care about it. And 9 out of 10 times, I will not be able to care about it. I just pretend to care. You know? And honestly, I pretend a lot of things. Like, I care, like, almost nothing for people. I barely care about myself. The only people I actually care about are, like, in my inner circle. Outside of that, I don't care. I really don't care, bro. Some fucking aunt I used to know, like, 8 years ago, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Who cares? Like, it's... Honestly, bro, I just... Maybe more like, morally, I'm just fucked. Who knows? But honestly, I sleep fine at night. Alright? And as long as you sleep fine at night, living the way you live, I think that's all that matters, okay? Doesn't matter what other people are going through. That's not your problem. You can make it your problem, but then you actually have to do something about it. And putting a fucking flag in your Twitter username, that doesn't help anyone. Putting it in your bio or tweeting about it, like, that doesn't help anyone. So I'd rather not give a shit about that stupid stuff than pretend to care and look like a fucking moron that doesn't do anything remotely helpful for the cause. Alright? I'd rather be an outsider. I'd rather be outside of the whole situation and not associated with it at all than to pretend to give a shit. Honestly, bro. Some people care about stuff they shouldn't be caring about when they are in, like, when their lives are in crumbles.
I have to. And it's been very, like, weird for me getting older, especially, and like, having, like, priorities change in your life, and having different things happen to you. And so I wanted to make this video and kind of, like, explain, like, kind of how I got to be this way, and hopefully a little bit of this can, like, explain, why do I behave this way? Why am I like this? Why do I have no shame with things, right? It's because I've lived a life where I've tried desperately to hold on to any degree of dignity that I've had, and anything that I've had, and it's just slowly been taken away from me. Whether it's myself, pieces of myself, other people, or the way that the world sees me. I think that the more that I've kind of just, let things flow freely and not care about it, the more happy and content that I've been. And so it's an ongoing process, and began whenever I said, I guess I said I was like 13, and I guess the last thing for me to do is really to let go of myself and just finally be content with my own existence for the time that I exist. And I'm not really a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person either. I don't believe there's any light at the end of the tunnel. I definitely don't think so. And I just try to make the best of being in the tunnel. And so that's why I live the way that I do. That's why I do the things that I do. That's why I say the things that I do. That's why a lot of criticism and things like this, of course I don't like it. Of course I don't like it. But it doesn't really emotionally affect me in the same way that I think it does for other people. And it used to affect me a lot more, but I've, gotten a little bit better at least at dealing with it. And so hopefully this can answer some questions and kind of give people a little bit more insight into my life and the kind of person I am. And that's pretty much about it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to cover. 30-minute video. Actually, I was expecting it to be longer. So, that's my life story. That's what's happened to me in general. And that's why I am the way I am. And will I ever change? Maybe, maybe not, right? I mean, I honestly, making a lot of money on Twitch and, the notoriety and everything, people recognize you. I mean, I guess it's nice, right? And I mean, sometimes having money is way better than not having money. But in terms of having a lot of wealth, I live in my same house. I use my same desk. I, for a very long time drove my same car. I eat in the same places. I do the same things. I really haven't changed at all, honestly, ever since I was younger, ever since my streams got popular. And maybe one day I will, maybe one day I won't. At the end of the day, I think that one thing that I've always really kind of focused on and thought about a lot is that I have complete and absolute agency over my own life. I can do anything that I want to do, and I can not do anything that I don't want to do. And I think that's been a very comforting fact. And so people ask me, are you ever going to do this? It's not something I'm really thinking about changing right now, but in the future, I might change my mind. I just don't know yet. And so I just try to live life and enjoy it and, be able to experience things for the way that they're meant to be experienced. And really, I don't care a whole lot about that either. I don't care about, going out or having certain life experiences or, oh, you'll regret this. Well, who cares if you regret this when you're old? You're about to die anyway. It doesn't even matter. And so I've never really felt that way. It's just it's not in me. And so that's really my whole life. And that's why I live the way that I live. It's why I do things the way that I do things. And, maybe one day it'll change. Maybe one day it won't. Who the fuck knows? Tune in next time to find out. So anyway, guys, hopefully this is a little bit more informative, etc. And I got an early end for the day. We had to record something early, so I came home. I figured I'd record this, and it's only 6 p.m. And so I don't know what the hell to do with myself now. I'm not streaming. I'm going to go walk around my house like an NPC. And so I don't know what to do. I'm probably going to go play video games. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Thanks for listening if you've gotten this far. And things have been going great for me recently. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been so supportive and everything. And, my best way that I can say thank you is by doing more of it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And that's about it. Peace.
That was a loaded video, man. That was a really loaded video. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, I've said a bunch of the stuff that I would hope that he changes in the previous video I did on him, where he told everyone about his heart problem, or his blood pressure problems, right? The crazy part is just how much I mentally relate to this guy, bro. This is actually insane. I'm a neat person. I'm definitely not a dirty person like Asmongold is. I'm not. But for psychological stuff and social stuff, it's scary how much alike we are. And I mean, maybe that's normal, or it's not. I honestly don't know, man. Honestly don't know, but it's definitely something that I just realized, and it's kind of fucking with me, man. That me and Asmund would be so much alike. I never thought it. I would have never guessed it. Yeah, sure. I mean, I share, some opinions that he has about certain topics. But outside of that, I didn't really think I was that alike. But after watching this whole video about him, him just explaining how his life got to where it is now, it's kind of insane. All right, let me see the comments real quick. I was assumed that I would kill myself. That World of Warcraft, Lord of the LazyKing came out, and I just kind of forgot. Asmongold almost killed himself, but didn't because of a WoW expansion. It says, yet funniest explanation for why he didn't go through it. No, you know why it's not the saddest version? Because this means the WoW expansion that gave his life meaning, and whether you think that's pathetic or not, I would say it's pathetic to, cling to life for other people. I think that's pathetic. So that's just another reason or another way that some people, make life matter. And for him, life mattered because he could escape real life through this. He had a escape option because his life was shit. But WoW wasn't, You make fun of his baldness, now I'm going bald. Yeah, that's how it is, man. I mean, bro, I'm 24. I'm starting to become I don't know, man. My forehead is also becoming quite big, I'm not gonna lie. Hey man, I'm 52 and feel like I'm still in my 20s. I get it. Thanks for sharing. I've been watching your videos for the past few years. I don't always agree with 100% with some of your takes on things, but I fully respect when someone lays out their truth on the table. Thanks for sharing, and thank you for... And this is the way you should be, bro. I don't always agree 100% with some of your takes on things. That's how you should be. Because if you 100% or 90% or 85% or 70% or like not even below 50% of the time disagree with somebody, then either, you're just a very like-minded person, or you're just a sheep and you just accept everything what other people say, and you don't think for yourself. And the moment you stop thinking for yourself, that's when you can be replaced with a robot, bro. That's you have to be your own person. You have to stay your own person. I'm 34 and I feel like I'm 16. It's so true. Keep wondering where did the last 15 years ago. Being in our 30s is so weird. You feel like you've done a lot and nothing at all at once. I agree, man. To everyone making jokes, I appreciate you and make you playing more on here to Lord Voldemort. But take a moment to realize that this is the month his mom passed away 3 years ago. Oh yeah, you're right. Asmund chose to share this story with the community, and we will laugh and make jokes, but let's go easy on him for the next month. No, I don't think he wants that. I don't think he would appreciate that. Not trying to be dick riding Andy, just saying it as someone who's gone through some pretty shit times. Jesus. Thanks to the laughs I got from this community and Asmund Molding. The fuck is molding? Person who's feeling very angry. Oh, okay. I've never heard of that before. Players spoke up. Your strength became your specialty, and many men in your situation don't have the opportunity. Thank you. Damn, Asmongold, I don't know where you were compelled to upload this, but I really appreciate the vulnerability here. Well, I was in the psych ward and they asked me what my reason to live is, and I answered with Hogwarts Legacy is coming out in a few months. They were disappointed with my answer, but honestly, if you love games so much that it keeps you alive, keep playing video games. Yeah, Why would they disappoint it? It's like they want you to die. It's like they want you to kill yourself. I've never understood the psych ward thing, bro. Like, everything is miserable, bro. Like, everything I see about a psych ward, it's always miserable. The room is miserable. There's no colors. There's no activities. There's no escapism. There's nothing to do in that psych ward. All you do is you get pumped full of drugs that make you feel like shit. Like, why do people go to psych ward? Honestly, if I'm that far gone that I need to go to the psych ward, bro, just kill me. Honestly, throw me off a bridge. I don't care, bro. I'm not going to psych ward. Honestly. Like, nothing in those places seem like it will help you. Nothing in those places seem like they will try to help you. And nothing in those places seem like it will actually help you. I already said that. Will actually be pleasant. Because the last thing I would want when I'm depressed as fuck is get placed in some room that is depressing, has no colors, has no substance, has no character. All the people around you are mentally deranged. All the people that help you pump you full of fucking drugs, and like all around everything in that site you can't leave on your own. You're pretty much a prisoner there. Everything in that place is just there to mentally fuck you up. I don't believe a psych ward is a good substitute or as a good strategy to cure or like learn to cope with your depression, or learn to cope with your mental illness, or learn to cope with anything. Like, on God, you'll never see me in a place like that, bro. I will never in my life want to be associated with a fucking psych ward. Those places scare me. Honestly, expected for the titles for this video to be a 2 steps ahead video. Adam Gold casually admitting to be a sociopath. Wait, what? No. 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 Hold on. Antisocial personality disorder. Sometimes called sociopathy. Sociopathy. The fuck do you say this?
Sociopathy.
Sociopathy. Ah, okay. Is a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. That's not it. Okay, this is it. But this, he has a strong right or wrong feeling. He deeply cares for right and wrong. His whole content is about calling out when something goes wrong, or is wrong, or shouldn't be okay. So this not really applies to him, and also not to me. This does though. Ignores the rights and feelings of others. I mean, the rights? No, he doesn't ignore the rights. Sure, when he was like a child, he once threw a fucking basketball at a child. Like, come on, every child does that. But like, he as an adult, he doesn't ignore rights and feelings of others. He doesn't ignore those. So I don't think there's a good how you call it, diagnosis for him. I don't think he is a sociopath. Sociopathic tendencies: learn how to fit in, had trauma from aging parent, didn't expect to live after high school, so didn't see a reason to take care of his body as a teen. PTSD from watching mom slowly degrade in health over years. As a young adult, realized he wasn't gonna end it and started figuring out how he was going to keep going. Is now 34. Is now the support system for his father, a business owner, streamer, and is dealing with emotional detachment to avoid further pain of losing the people he cares about, including himself. The more I care about things, the less happy I am as a person. Damn, you're right. I still would love to see Asmund take Tectone's offer to do a total cleanup on Asmund's house. Not just for the content, but more importantly, keep Asmund healthier so we can have him around longer. Bro, that would be sick. That would be really cool. Those don't help without a brutal mental change. It'll just keep a few weeks to look the same. Okay. I'll say this as nice as possible. You are so wrong. Okay? And I'll tell you why. You think it won't change him. And I think it will. Okay? Now, I'm gonna make an analogy for this situation right here. The analogy is you have a backpack. Okay? And your backpack is normally, let's say, 3 kilos. Okay? You figure it out if you don't know kilos. Okay? That's not my issue. And normally, you go around the world, live your life with 3 kilos on your back, so you're used to it, right? Now you have to imagine that you are going through life, and slowly but surely, there's like 100 grams getting slipped into your backpack every so often, right? And eventually you end up with twice the load, that is 6 kilos. And the things that were added are your house being a mess, okay? And you can manage it, you can manage to work around it, but you can't fully navigate it, right? You can't fully run with your backpack. You can't fully, exist with that backpack on. So you need to wait, you need to get rid of the weight. Now, the analogy is very straightforward. To make sure somebody understands my point. And Asmund's house getting cleaned up would result in that 3 extra kilos in his backpack to be gone. Now, think about I don't know if anyone has it, but like, if you have ever worn a weight vest, don't know what it is. It's a vest, and it has weights in it, and you put it on like a kind of a backpack. You strap it on, and you do calisthenics with it or anything other stuff, And the moment you take it off, you feel stronger because you've been your body has been trying to adjust to the weight to do everything that you normally do, right? Now that weight vest has been lifted, and you're feeling more strong. I'm gonna give another explanation actually before I will solidify my point. Imagine you have a dishwasher, right? The dishwasher is full. It will take time to take out the dishes of the dishwasher and put it in the cupboards and all that, right? You don't necessarily need to put anything new in it yet, because you don't have new dishes yet, right? But then, let's say a day goes by, and you have new dishes that you need to get in there, but your dishwasher is full, right? It's clean though. You only have to take it out and put it in your cupboards. Now, it is inherently easier to take out the dishwasher when you have a cause than if you don't see a cause, right? Same with this. If you have an empty dishwasher and you have a couple dishes, it's way easier to just okay, well, let's put some dishes in it and that's it. But if you have a whole kitchen full of dishes that need to go into the dishwasher, that takes more time and more energy. So it's harder to actually, start doing it. That's where discipline comes in, right? What I'm saying here is, if Asmongold's house would get cleaned up, fully clean, fully, everything, spick and span, or maybe not spick and span, but, just very clean, like a normal house would be, right? Sure, he will make a mess again. However, he will eventually. He won't be an idiot. Okay. The moment he feels or he has been experiencing this house that's really, nice and fresh and doesn't smell bad, and everything is like cleaned up. The moment he finds out that his house is starting to get cluttered again and he doesn't like that, he will have a cause to, keep it up with how tidy it is. Now, I could be wrong, of course, right? Because he has stated that he doesn't really care about messes. But that also could be a cope mechanism, that he just doesn't want to clean up everything in his house on its own, or he just doesn't have the mental fortitude to like physically clean up his house, because it's an incredible task physically and mentally. It's like climbing a mountain, right? So that's why I think you're wrong. Those were the comments. If you're still watching this video, let me know what you think about Esmond. Like your genuine opinion. Your genuine opinion about him as a person. Not his content. I mean, you can also put content in there, that's fine, but I'm more like curious about what you think about him as a person. And has this video changed your view on him? Probably not. I don't think anyone who hates him will be watching this video. Or his video, for that matter. He's a lot stronger than we all thought. At least, he's stronger than I thought. His mental fortitude is pretty insane. You know what I just realized? At the start of the video, I blamed his parents, and honestly, it is definitely his parents that made him the way he is right now. But honestly, his parents couldn't do much. His dad was not really in the picture, and his mom was deadly ill, so still their fault. But they couldn't really do a lot against it. So maybe not fault, but maybe it's like the cause. I think that's better. Yeah, I think it's better to call it the cause instead of the failure of the parents.